What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Fire 15
Welcome
edition
back.
of Fire 15.
Fire 15. It's
That's
gonna be
why
fire for
that's
15 minutes.
that's why I'm not
Fire
good
for
at the
15.
intro because I'm just not great at the intro.
It's fine. Here we are, guys. Super excited about another Fire 15 today.
Fire 15, yep.
And today,
We got a doozy
we got
today.
we got a great one today. But before we do that, what's your name?
I'm Doc.
And I'm PJ. And we pastor a church in Brandon, Mississippi called NVF. So if you are in
Vision Fellowship.
the area, we'd love to have you. But if not, if you're online, we'd love to have you there too.
That's right. So subscribe and follow us
Yes.
on Instagram, Facebook, all the places.
And if this blesses you, if it encourages you in any way, do us one favor.
Just one.
Just one. Share it with somebody.
Share it with somebody.
Somebody.
Send it to somebody.
Yes.
Don't send it to them because it's like, hey, I think you need this. But just say, I think this will bless you.
It'll benefit. You'll
It'll
benefit.
benefit you.
Okay, so today's
Yeah,
topic.
today we are going to be talking about, you ready for this? Navigating tough times. Not only in just marriage, but all relationships.
Our relationships. How do you
Seasons.
navigate hard seasons?
Yeah.
How do you navigate seasons well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because I think we can all. If you think about a ship may go through turbulent times, but I think the trick is how do you handle the turbulent times?
Right,
I think that's the difference maker.
Yeah, I
a lot
agree.
of times.
I agree.
And we experience these in relationships. Tough seasons. Very tough seasons.
Tough seasons are inevitable.
That is true.
Even if you're a believer, there is scripture that promises that you can guarantee that you will navigate something. Life as
Absolutely.
rainbows and butterflies, even if you follow Jesus.
Correct.
It's not a guarantee.
Yep.
So it's like not the if but when, right?
Right.
And I'm not even a negative Nancy. I err on the side of the positive Patty. Like, it's fine, it'll all be fine.
And I'm
But
more realistic.
first of all, whoa. Positive Patties can be realistic.
They can be realistic, but I like to have a very real undertone with mine. Like, this is not good.
Well-
Doesn't mean that we aren't good,
Right.
but this is not good.
But even in my positive pattiness, I was saying that there still will be things that you experience
Yes.
challenge-wise.
Yes.
So let's kick it off. How can one? Let's start with just marriage first, and then we'll sprinkle off into other friendships or relationships of type. So
And then just life, man.
yeah, life. So how do we navigate hard seasons well, and how do we keep above the waves, for lack of better terms, the ebbs and the flows of life? Like, how do we stay above it and not let it crush us?
Yeah.
Because if we're not careful,
Yeah.
life's happenings, when life start lifing, okay? When life start lifing, we can get lost in the sauce. So what are some
very
things
true.
we can do to be intentional about that?
Well, you tell me, what are some things that we can do to be intentional about that?
I think one of the first things, the most primary things, this is my personal opinion, and something that we do or have done, that is learning how to communicate at a feeling level.
Okay. Yeah.
So meaning
Yeah.
when I'm navigating something or we're navigating something, because understand this, when you're navigating things in marriage, sometimes it may be something I'm going through,
Right.
sometimes it's something you're going through,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's something we're going through.
Yeah.
But regardless of the reason behind the navigation of the hard seasons, having transparent conversation and be like, you know what? This is how I feel. Like this is what I'm struggling with. This is what's happening in my heart. That is the first place to go ahead and expose the enemy, because he's gonna come in and try to bring division, try to bring confusion, all the things he brings.
Yeah.
But I think communicating, be like, you know what, like that hurt my feelings, or I'm struggling today, or I'm feeling insecure about this, or I'm feeling just down about that, and just being okay to express how I feel and it be a safe place.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing. What do you think?
Well, I got a question for you. What if I am not? Because typically most men are not in tune with their feelings. Because I think society today has
That's real.
really
That's real.
conditioned men
Unfortunately, though,
to not be in tune, like it's weak to be in tune with their feelings.
yeah,
And all of my life, because I'm a country boy. I grew up on the farm.
yes, you did.
Grew up in what some
King
people
country, king hashtag king
Oh
country.
Lord, what some people would determine as also the hood. And it's like, boy, you're supposed to be tough. You got to be hard. You got to be all these things. So I spent all of my life steering on the opposite side of feelings. Like I saw what feelings made people do,
Yeah,
and I decided early on that I wanted no parts, because if it'll make you do this, then I don't want that.
Yeah.
So how do you think that from a woman's perspective and with men who may not be in tune with their feelings, how do you think that men can start to be vulnerable and talk at the feeling level?
Well, I'll speak from what I think, but you're gonna have to answer that
Oh
question.
Lord.
You're gonna have to answer
I
that
wanted
question.
to just ask you a lot of questions.
No, you're gonna have to speak to that because I'm not a dude, right? I'm not a dude, and I think the biggest thing is understanding for a woman that some men do struggle in that vulnerable space,
Yeah.
and so not ruining the opportunity for that vulnerability to be accepted.
And
So
how do you ruin the opportunity?
I mean,
How
I
would you
ruined it
ru-
one time.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
I
Just
did. Hey, relax,
one? Okay.
sir.
All right. Just
I remember early on in marriage, I'm talking like maybe 2 years in. A year, 2 years, something like that. Anyways, you were having a moment.
yeah.
And instead of like embracing you in that moment and just allowing you to say how you felt or affirming your feelings or even just listening and not saying anything, I used some words that were not kind and they made you feel like, and that's the last time
Yeah.
I'm going to ever let her into that space and place in my life. And I felt terrible because I think in that moment I was stressed too. And I'm like, we can't both be stressed. Like somebody gotta be okay. And instead of just sitting in that moment together, because we can be not okay at the same time and just embracing each other, leaning into the Lord, I just kind of hashed out I think, anger is a secondary emotion.
Yeah.
So I think the primary emotion was fear. Like I was afraid, like if you're not okay, oh God, like what are we gonna do? And so I think I just lashed out in fear. Really, I was afraid, but I was angry and I said some ugly things. And I think that day you decided that you would never
Yep. I told
be
myself.
vulnerable with me again.
I told myself. I said, if this what
Please.
because what happens is it's like okay, I'm charting new waters.
Yes.
I don't know what they
I
are.
know.
And my worst fear came alive
Yes.
because it was like the person that I would want to be open and vulnerable with. She responded in a way
Yeah.
that I knew might happen or I didn't want to happen.
But you prayed it didn't, right?
I prayed it didn't.
You always would hope that it didn't.
Right. And when it did, I said, and see, that's why. That's why I want no part to
Have y'all ever
feelings.
done that before? You said, let me tell you something, like, I'm gonna never do that, and then you do it, and then the reason why you say you never did it really happened, you're like, and that's why.
And
Yeah,
that's
that's
why.
I was a that's why. And I was in maturity in conversation later, I'm like, dang it, like, do we as women, we realize the gift that we have if our partner is willing to be vulnerable with us? Because, depending on, where you navigate life, how you navigate life, and what skin you live in, life in general is hard.
Right.
And so having a place with your spouse or your partner to be able to be safe should be a gift. And so I exploited that opportunity and I messed up. And I was hopeful that you would trust me again, because you could have been like, and never again. And then we would have gone on life, marriage, and navigated life at a minimal level of what we could have because of what I did. And so I think I apologized, and you, of course, you gave me another chance.
It
Thanks
took
for that.
It took a while.
Sure, I get it.
Because I was expecting her to fix what I thought she broke.
Now you're preaching.
She didn't break what needed to be fixed. It was just a symptom of something that needed to be fixed.
Yeah.
And so I realized that the person who you feel hurt you doesn't have the capacity to heal you.
That part.
And I had to do the deep soul work
Yeah.
to figure out, why am I afraid to be vulnerable
Right.
with the
Right.
person that knows me more intimately than anybody else on this earth.
Literally.
And it's, for men, sometimes we don't know what we're feeling because it's new waters. Like,
Because you don't really lean into feelings.
you don't lean in the feeling. As a young boy, you fall on the ground, get up. That
Don't
hurt.
cry. Men don't cry. Yeah.
Men don't cry.
It's
Men don't
so-
show weakness and all this type of stuff.
Falseness.
And I think I think vulnerability is the glue that holds relationships together.
Wait, run that back. Run that back again.
I said it Sunday.
Say it again.
It shouldn't hit that hard.
Say it again.
Unless you weren't listening.
I was listening. See how he do me.
Vulnerability.
See? When your pastor is your husband too. See.
Vulnerability is the glue that holds relationships together.
No, that's good. That's good.
And if you aren't being vulnerable, then you aren't connecting. And if you aren't connecting, then you can't be intimate.
Yeah.
And if you can't be intimate, then how well are you really being known?
Inside of a relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. So I think that, one of the first steps in navigating challenging seasons is being willing to communicate at a feeling level and being willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and being
being open to that.
feelings.
And the thing is, like, there's no right or wrong answer. How I feel is how I feel. Now, understanding that feelings may not be factual, but they're still valid.
They're still real.
They're still valid.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So, like, holding space for your spouse, holding space for one another, and being like, okay, like, that's how you feel. And then in a minute, after they have their moment, speak the truth of God's word.
Yeah.
Speak the truth of the reality. Say, okay, I know this is what it looks like, but it's what we're believing for, so on and so forth. So that piece of it. Now, let me ask you this.
Wait, I'm gonna say one more thing about feelings.
Okay, go ahead.
Feelings are a good indicator, but feelings aren't supposed to guide you.
Yes,
Because
that's true.
You know, if when feelings pop up, and if you're like, man, I'm feeling this, and I don't know why I'm feeling this, it could be an indicator that something is brewing and developing.
Right.
But if you tend to follow those feelings, you will
let them lead. Yeah.
You will probably end up in a place that you don't want to be, or a place that's not beneficial for you. So like you mentioned, feelings are real, but they aren't always factual.
Correct. That's
so
good.
So now back to your question. You
so what if the navigating of the hard time is like inside of a marriage, and it's something that the other spouse has done to cause the conflict? So it's not like losing a job, or like we experienced having a sick child. There was nothing either one of us did. You know, what if it's, losing a spouse or something like that? Like, that's something that you kind of navigate together. But what if it's something you did to me, my boy? Or what if it's something I did to you? How do you navigate those types? Or something you're not doing that I have an issue with? How do we navigate those hard seasons? Yeah. And how do we lean into that type of situation, if you're picking up what I'm putting down?
Beginning this podcast episode, I told you I was going to ask you all the questions, and I see how you flip that around very quickly, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm just asking.
I don't know how I feel about that. That's a very good question,
because that's a different type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because it's easy. It can easily be construed that you did this and you hurt me,
right?
And a valid response is like, you hurt me, and I don't want to be hurt.
Right.
By you anymore.
So then I wall up.
I wall up.
I distance myself. We still married now.
Yes.
And I'm living through life and marriage with you.
Yes. But I think we go back to what you talked about, talking at a feeling level. Like, this is what I felt when this happened.
Yeah.
And if you aren't in tune with your feelings, then you can't have any direction about where you potentially might be headed.
Yeah. Yes. However,
okay,
I think that being able to accept the responsibility for what has done wrong is where we have to start as well. Like, we can't even have a conversation about what you did and how it made me feel if you tell me that and I begin to shift the blame to you and say, well, if you would have done what, or if you would have done this, we wouldn't be here. Being mature enough to be like, you know what, I'm gonna take that on the chin. That's my bad. Like, I'm sorry. Or even if I didn't intend to hurt you in that way, but I did, just because it wasn't my intention doesn't mean it's not real.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't try to make you mad doesn't mean it make you angry. So even though my heart wasn't in it to make you angry, if it made you angry or hurt your feelings or whatever, I gotta say, okay, let me do some self-evaluation right here and say that action, for whatever reason, offended, hurt, whatever my spouse, let me be mindful about moving in that way. Yeah. Because you'll never get past hard seasons if you can't take responsibility for what causes them.
I think responsibility and accountability are the two angriest cuss words in the world.
Listen, but it's the blame game that's been on the scene since Eve, my boy. Eve and Adam was in there doing. It was this woman you gave me. It was a serpent. Somebody got to take responsibility, bro. Like, somebody got to be like, you know what, that's me. And I can speak so passionately about this because I'm an overcoming blame shifter. I'm a recoverer now. I've been delivered, and I said overcoming. I'm a recovered. Recovering. Past tense. I'm free.
Present participle.
I am free, but I used to be in conversations or whatever, bring something up and I'd be like, okay, so that's what you did. Well, the reason why I did this is because you did that, and it might be true. It may be so true.
But it's not the time for that.
It's not the time for that. It's not the time for that. And I've had friendships and relationships and situations where it's like, bro, I don't want to go any further with this relationship or friendship because you can't take responsibility.
And I think you have to understand that certain levels of relationships are not just for two people that love each other. certain levels of
Yeah.
relationship are for two mature people.
That's right. That's right.
Because
That's right.
maturity will get you a lot further in
Then
certain.
love.
A lot of times, maturity will get you a lot further than love.
So many.
Because love does cover a multitude of sins.
And do.
It does cover a multitude of sins.
Right.
That's what the Bible says.
That's the Bible says.
But I also believe maturity teaches you how to handle the sin.
Yeah. The multitude.
Right. It teaches you how to handle it. And
That's good.
That's why maturity and wisdom are so important. Because you have to know how to walk through some stuff. Because, you did it, but the world doesn't stop just because you did it. Now we got to wake up tomorrow.
And navigate through this. Live past this. Keep going in this hard season, navigating hard times inside of this friendship, relationship, parenting situation, whatever.
Whatever it is, just in tough times in general.
Yeah.
You got to have maturity and utilize wisdom that will literally save you.
That's right.
Because that's what wisdom is there for, to save you.
That's right.
So
keeps us safe. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you believe we're out of time?
We're not out of time. This is our.
We got one topic inside of navigating hard seasons, and that was vulnerability and communication.
Somebody did say that we're gonna have to turn this to an hour.
Who said that?
Somebody said that we're gonna have to turn this to an hour podcast because 15 minutes just isn't long enough.
I
don't
maybe.
know. Will people listen for an hour?
I don't know. Y'all gonna have to drop it in the chat. Y'all gonna have to comment and say, we down for the hour. Because what we're not gonna do is waste our time or yours. Amen.
Yeah. Because if you're down for a power hour.
Hey, okay, 5:15 power hour.
We can give you a power hour.
I love it. Yeah, but I think that if we were gonna wrap this up and put a bow on the top, in navigating hard seasons, being able to talk at a feeling level and being vulnerable is the first step.
Oh yeah.
The first step.
Most definitely. But you have to, I think, identify where you are on the feeling spectrum.
Okay.
Because it's very uncomfortable to talk about feelings.
And
because you get down to some deep stuff.
It's true.
And
that some people have masked all their life. They maybe never talk about that around their family.
Yeah.
We don't talk feelings. We just laugh and cover this stuff up.
Right.
We shove stuff under the rug. So I'm getting in this relationship and I gotta talk about my feelings. Where do I even begin?
And feelings buried alive don't die.
Come on, somebody.
They don't die.
They do not die.
And anything that's buried that's alive will continue to grow.
That's right.
And when you see it, it's a lot larger than what you buried.
Come on.
So you think about a seed. You put a seed in the ground.
Come on, Dr. Ag.
It's gonna grow because it's not dead. And typically what you see has manifested into something that you didn't put in the ground. That's why we have to be very, very cognizant of dealing with the feelings as they come and dealing with those feelings.
Dealing with them.
Not
pushing past them or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So feelings buried alive don't die.
That's so good. Okay, guys. I hope that today's Fire 15 was fire 15ing.
16-ish, 17-ish.
I hope you guys were encouraged and blessed. And it is our prayer that you share this with someone else, that you take the tokens from it and ask the Lord, hey, what else? What's going on inside of me? How can I apply this to my life to be a better version of myself, to be a better disciple for Christ? Because at the end of the day, the last thing He told us to do is go and make disciples.
Go make disciples.
And disciples don't be out here hurt, bleeding on people, bleeding on folk, because you hurt.
You can't be leading and bleeding.
Leading and bleeding.
Can't be leading and bleeding.
Go to the doctor. Go to the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where the hospital? What she
The
said.
hospital. Y'all have a good one. Love y'all. See you next time.
Love you guys.